Welcome to Mind Shield. We protect the mind and pursue the truth. Let's get started.
You know, when communities try to investigate something, good intentions can get messy, fast. Today, we're going to build a structured framework to change all that. It's a way to get to the bottom of things with a process that values credibility over drama and offers peer review without the humiliation.
Let's kick things off with a core principle, something that really guides this whole process. See, the goal here isn't to make everyone feel comfortable. It's to find clarity. And when the stakes are high, clarity demands a really precise, really rigorous process.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with why a structured process is so critical. Then we'll actually build the review team, role by role. After that, we'll walk through the 5 core questions that drive every single investigation. And finally, we'll look at what a professional output looks like and the guiding philosophy that honestly holds the whole thing together.
Okay, section 1. Let's dive right in and talk about the problem we're actually trying to solve here. It's really the difference between an investigation that gets actual results and one that just gets laughed out of the room.
Look, every strong community has some kind of quality control. Without it, things devolve into what you might call certainty theater. It's all drama, no data. And this is exactly how even legitimate claims get dismissed as just paranoid speculation. Think about it like this. In a courtroom, you've got a judge who acts as a gatekeeper, right? They throw out speculation and hearsay. Well, our process needs to do the same thing, so we can build a case that authorities will actually take seriously. So how do we actually build that credibility? How do we put that quality control in place? Well, it all starts with the team. This isn't about one person making a judgment call. It's about creating a system of checks and balances with very specific roles, where every single piece of evidence gets handled and reviewed by more than one person. And this is what we call the evidence review panel. You can really just think of it as your internal quality control team. Its job isn't to preach a conclusion or push a theory. Its job is to test every claim with scientific rigor to separate what was actually observed from how someone interpreted it. These 5 roles are the engine of that system. The intake reviewer takes that fire hose of incoming information and organizes it into a coherent case file. The redaction checker is all about safety, stripping out sensitive info to protect everyone's privacy. The timeline auditor does the painstaking work of building a verifiable sequence of events. The evidence indexer maintains what's called the chain of custody, and that's just the unbroken trail of accountability for every piece of evidence. It's absolutely vital if a case ever goes legal. And finally, the safety officer is the ultimate guardrail, making sure everything stays lawful and safe. Together, they create a system designed for accuracy.
All right, now we get to the real engine of this whole thing. This isn't just a casual chat about the evidence. It's a structured interrogation of that evidence, and it's driven by 5 critical questions that the panel has to ask about every single claim.
Question 1, and this is probably the most important. What are the raw observations? What was actually seen, heard, or measured? We're talking about, I saw a red car at 3 p.m., not I saw the getaway car. See the difference? One is data, the other is an interpretation. We have to strip away all the interpretation first. This is the bedrock.
Okay, next up, show me the proof. Where are the artifacts to back up these observations? Where are the logs, the photos, the recordings? An observation by itself is just a story, but an artifact is a piece of evidence. And when you have documented artifacts, that's how you turn isolated incidents into a pattern that you can actually verify. Now, this next one is absolutely crucial for scientific rigor. Have we run any controls? Have we done any experiments to test our own assumptions? A control is just a test to rule out other factors. For instance, could we put RF shielding in a room and see if someone's reported symptoms change? This is how you stop just guessing and start actually testing your variables.
This is what separates a real investigation from just pushing an agenda. We have to ask, what are the other plausible explanations for the data? A strong investigation doesn't just promote one theory, it actively looks for competing ones. Because once you define the alternatives, you can then look for specific evidence that would prove one right and the others wrong. It forces you to be honest.
And finally, the 5th question. This one really gets to the heart of what makes an investigation honest. You have to ask, ahead of time, what specific evidence would prove my own theory wrong? Think about that. If you can't tell me what would falsify your hypothesis, you're not investigating, you're just looking for confirmation.
So, you've gone through those 5 tough questions. Now what? The whole thing can't just end there with a discussion. It has to produce something tangible, something professional, and something actionable. We're turning a review into actual intelligence. And that output comes in 3 key parts. You've got a panel summary that clearly and concisely states the findings. You have a specific list of evidence requests to fill in the gaps. And you have a clear, lawful set of next steps. The whole point is to create a clean, prosecutor-grade case file that can actually be escalated to attorneys, regulators, or even law enforcement. Okay, last section, and honestly, this might be the most important part of the whole framework. We're talking about the philosophy, the tone, the rules of engagement that make this whole process work without tearing people apart. This is the tightrope we have to walk, and it is absolutely critical. On one side, you interrogate the claim. You are relentless. You question assumptions, you test evidence, you demand rigor. But, and this is a big but, on the other side, you respect the person. You acknowledge the effort and stress they're under, you assume good faith. You focus all that tough criticism on the process and the evidence, never on the individual. And to make sure that happens, we have 3 non-negotiable rules. These are the guardrails. Number 1, no ridicule. Every claim is treated seriously as something to be tested. Number 2, no certainty theater. We have to be honest about what we don't know and state our confidence levels clearly. And number 3, and this is huge, no diagnosing. The panel reviews evidence. It does not play armchair psychologist or doctor. Period. These rules protect the investigation's integrity and everyone's dignity. So what's the end results of all this? When you put this system in place, you're doing something really powerful. You're moving past just collecting stories. You're actually building a verifiable, evidence-based forensic trail, something that becomes much, much harder for anybody to dismiss. And that really captures the power of this entire process, doesn't it? It gives you a map, a methodology to make the invisible measurable. It's how you take control of the situation through disciplined, credible, and rigorous investigation. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Join us next time when we dive into building a signature library. It's a powerful way to catalog real patterns in your data so you can identify recurring threats without just inventing them. See you then.